Hey guys, it's Kate, and I hope you're having a great day. Have you ever have those days where you just don't feel creative? I've been sitting here all day doing watercolor and I hated all of them. So I broke out my art journal and my acrylics, and maybe we'll try a change of pace. So I have a pre-gessoed journal page here. I actually have a little bit of texture here coming through from some alcohol ink on the other side, but I'm actually going to just paint over this anyway. So I'm going to grab this turquoise color and put it on my little mixing plate, and I'm going to do some little flat paintings today, I think, and just kind of have fun with color on my paper and not really care about what we get, where it goes. And I have this taped off with some washi tape, and I'm going to do kind of a double painting. But first, I'm really feeling a nice turquoise color today. So I'm just going to paint in my background with this turquoise into a solid color. Okay, I've got my turquoise on the background of that one, and I want to do kind of a color that goes with it for the second box, but not the same color. And I've got this lime color that's also really pretty, so I'm going to add that down at the bottom. Let's make it into a bit of opposite day, shall we? I've got my little plastic piece from the end of a paintbrush when I got it brand new, and I'm going to dip this right into some paint, and I'm going to add just some fun circles of the opposite color right here to the right. And I'm going to let that come right off of the edge of my painting. And then I'm going to wipe this off and do the same thing up above. So I'm going to dip into my lime green and get some paint down over my blue. I'm going to grab a little blob of white gesso and get that on my plate. And I'm not going to use too much here. And I'm going to get into my stylus, and I'm going to make some little dots of white here into my circles. And it doesn't really matter how this turns out. I just really want to break the page, get out of my comfort zone, play with some color and basic shapes, and just have fun, because I have been just psyching myself out today, basically, and just letting the paint get the better of me. And it's supposed to be fun, and I want to make sure that we keep it that way. And I kind of like keeping these dots going, but I'm making them more spread out as we reach the left side. And I'm going to do the same thing up here. And I'm just kind of dipping frequently so I get a fresh blob of white on my stylus. And that helps also make my dots different sizes. So some of them are darker, or not darker, but larger when I have my stylus freshly dipped. And then they get smaller the longer I dab. And so I'm going to do the same thing up here and really make them more spread out the further to the end that we go. Just like that. And I'm going to make these different, but I want to start with this basic base. Okay, so I'm back and we're dry, and I grabbed my navy blue Posca pen, and I'm going to start on this bottom one. And I want to put in some little leaf decals, and I'm just going to kind of go and make some clean marks here. And I'm going to make my vines kind of thick, just like this. And I want to have some nice contrast with this dark green in the background. And I'm going to vary the width of my vines and have them kind of come from this as the main branch. And maybe I will make a new one coming right up through here. And I'm going to start this kind of thick as well and let it narrow as we come to the middle. And I'm going over some of these areas where I put that white marker, and I think that that will be a pretty nice look. I'm going to have one more come off of there, and maybe one coming off of here. And I think that would be pretty cute. So I'm going to make some little leaves, just like this. And I'm just kind of doodling them in and coloring them in with my marker. And we're just going to make this very easy and fun. And have one coming off the edge down there. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. And I might just have this be a stick. I don't know. We'll see. Or, you know what I might do is have my leaves get bigger also. Just like this. So I'm kind of matching them to my stalk. And as this comes up, I'm going to make these smaller. Just like this. And then when we get up here, I'm going to match them more toward that side. And I love this contrast with the dark blue and that lime green in the background. And I think these colors go very well together. Okay. And why don't we have just a little leaf coming right up here. Just like that. I think that's pretty cute. Maybe I'll have another one kind of coming off the page, just like that. I like that. Okay, I guess I'm going leaf happy. Okay, that's really the last one. Okay, I'm breaking out some of my violet, and I'm going to grab a smaller brush and kind of mix this in with some of this blue. Just like this. And I might even pull in some white here. Actually, what I might do is mix it into some of this white here. And I've got this kind of nice sort of dusty purple color. I might darken it just a little bit more with some of that violet to make a nice pink color. And I'm going to come in and make some flowers. And I might grab some blue here and some white. Just like this. And I'm kind of going in and just loosely putting in some little flowers. Can't remember what they're called, but they kind of come up into a point, and it's got just a lot of flowers on it. A lot of little flower buds. And I'm just grabbing different colors so we get some contrast going, and I might even come in and darken some of this up or brighten it up. I'm not really sure yet, but I want to make sure I get a lot of good color on here. And actually, I kind of like that where you have the mixture here. So you've got the dark and the light, so it's almost like multi-tone or shadows. I'm going to do the same thing to all of these. I'm going to come into some white and just make sure we get plenty of contrast where it pops off the back. So we can have our highlights and our shadows. Yeah. And why don't we do a second one right here? Or second one, a fourth one, but kind of in the middle. Just like that. Now I think what I'm going to do is see about getting a green, and I might just see what we can do to make a darker green color. You have red and green kind of mixed together and make a neutral. So I'm wondering if I can get a nice neutral going here. And that kind of looks good to me. Maybe for some leaves or stems. Just like this. And it's hard to tell right now, but I'm going to also add some white. I just want to make sure I've got enough contrast here, and it's not really there yet. Now I think for this one that's kind of here in the front, I'm going to make this a little bit lighter around the edges so that you can tell it's a different plant. And I might even dip a little into this blue and add that in there as well. I'm coming back into that brighter green and adding a few little pops of that. We're just going to have fun with colors today. And maybe a little bit kind of coming through where it might be stem or something like that. And get a little bit more of that violet in here. Get that along the bottom. And really come in here with some good color. All right, I think we can call these 2 little paintings done. And they were fun and both very different, but with similar backgrounds. So I'm going to take off my tape and we will see how they look. I'm just going to go slow so I don't really tear my paper. And these were just fun little easy paintings. And it really helped get me out of my creative funk. And it's almost like we've got kind of like a little dual journal page here, or sketch page. And I'm just tearing straight back across carefully and letting that tape come off. And I love those clean little borders there. You could even, if you had 2 little sort of motifs that you make, you could even join them up if you had a stencil or stamp or something like that, and you can, after everything dries, kind of go in from the side and maybe do a fun little border or something like that. But I think for these, I'm just going to keep them as is. And I even have a little bit of alcohol ink texture coming in from the page behind it. So let me pull my sheet out and give you a little close-up. As you can see, our little flowers, and I don't know what they are, but in my mind, they're real. So if you know what these are, comment down below. I know I've seen them, I just don't know what they're called. And this one, we just have some nice little abstract leaves on our background, and we've got our white dots and everything. So we've got some texture here, lots of contrast, and they're just 2 fun little paintings. So I hope you enjoyed this video today, and hopefully you'll try something like this in your journal as well. I hope you have a great day, and until next time, keep creating.